And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Dogs of War from Cool Mini or Not. Now, Cool Mini or Not is known for its, miniature styles of games. You know, they have Arcadia Quest and Zombicide and things like that. Dogs of War has these miniatures in it. I mean, really great miniatures, but they're essentially just, they could be, in many other games, they would be a disc that you put out on the board. The game is designed by Paulo Mori, who has done many great games like Libertalia and such, and so I was very interested. I haven't liked all his games. That's the Gamma is not one I enjoyed, but I love this theme, the pirate style theme. Although this is kind of like pirate, alien, steampunk, I'm not really sure. Although, if I wanted to be sure, I have a ton. I mean, this rulebook looks really huge, but there's a ton of all this stuff in here. I mean, there's a woman here, it looks like Dr. Octopus. I don't even know what that means, but lots of fluff involved in this game. But anyway, forget all the fluff. Let's see if the game's fun. In this game, you're going to try to get the most points, of course, and you can do that by getting some straight-up victory points that you'll be collecting over the course of the game. Money is worth half a victory point, basically 2 coins give you a point at the end of the game. Different cards that you'll have, you can basically liquidate all your resources at the end of the game for points. But one way to get many points in this game is by backing different houses and getting shields in those different houses. At the top of the board here, you'll see each of the house has a track here. They all start at -1, so you can lose some points if you back the wrong houses, but they can go across the board. And while they likely won't get to 7, it takes some work to get there, they might get to 3 or 4, in which case they could be quite a few points. Now, the game takes place over 4 years, and in each of those years you're going to be doing some very similar things. There's going to be 3 battles, well, only 2 in a 3-player game, but in a 4-player game, 3 battles, and they're kind of randomly set up. So here we got purple against red, white against green, blue against yellow. So players have a certain amount of money, and they're going to be using that money to buy soldiers. You can see here, there's 4 different types of soldiers. Each has a cost, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they also have a strength value. Players are going to be on their turns. They're going to be taking turns. They're going to have captains. Now, the captains are these ridiculously huge busts. This is, I mean, look at these. That's one evil pirate lady. Here we got this mustachio guy. This guy loves feathers in his cap. That guy is just weird. And then we have this guy who looks like Cortez if he was an alien or something. Anyhow, you get a certain number of captains depending on what year it is. So when it's your turn, you place a captain on the side that you want it to be, and once you pick a side, like let's say I pick purple, I can't put any captains on red side. Well, there's a special card that lets me do that, but for the most part you can't do that. Although I could place another captain there later on. However, when you play a captain, you also have to take one of these guys that you have. You have a shield that you're hiding everything behind, and you place that soldier here. So this footman then would make this marker move 1. So yay, purple side's winning. But maybe another guy plays a captain on the other side, which is an aqua boozer, which is 3. 1, 2, 3. Now they're winning on that side. And so you're going back and forth. When you place a captain, though, you're going to look at where you place it, and you might get a reward. See, if I place a captain here, I get 2 coins. Here, I get a shield of the color who it is, and this happens to be green. Here, I get a special card, an intrigue card, and I get a shield of that color, of green. Here I get 2 victory points. Here I get a coin, and I get another captain that I can use this turn. Now, this spot here has to have at least an aqua booster or higher placed there, and this one has to have at least a knight or higher placed there. When you put a captain there, you have to put out one that's at least that high. You can even put a guy in the blank spot. You don't get a reward, but you're helping that side win. And sometimes these guys will give you, like here, if I put one here, I get a war machine that I can use. Over here, I'll get 2 footmen. And so there's different rewards and benefits, and these will change each round. At the end of a round, we're going to see which side won when everyone's done placing all their stuff. And the side that won, so let's say pink placed here, and the other 3 people placed here. Now, if this side won, then they would get 1 point for each captain on the opposing side. So the green, yellow, and gray player would each get 2 points. If pink had 1, if this side had 1, then pink would get 3 points, 1 for each captain over there. Also, on the winning side, whoever has the most captains will get this bonus tile. These are also randomly placed, so they would get 2 more shields of their color, or maybe 3 points. Here you get 2 intrigue cards. And you shouldn't underestimate these intrigue cards. There are some pretty cool things that you can do. Ignore the reward listed in the order of battle, so you can ignore the reward when you place it down and go up an extra 3 spots. Discard one of your soldiers and take one that costs 1 more. Buy a new soldier right now, paying as usual. Skip this turn, but you can still go later on. You can pass and go later on. Ignore the reward listed in the order of battle and take 3 coins. If you play a soldier on the losing side of a battle, advance +2 spaces on the battle track. So you can play one of these cards per turn, and there's different ways to get them. You start with some. And then at the end of the game, players will reveal everything that they have after 4 turns, and they'll add up all their points, and the most points is the winner. I should mention each person starts with a card that gives them 2 shields of one of the houses, so you kind of have an invested interest in one of the houses as time goes by. But that's how you play. Well, a solid game. I was really surprised by a couple things. One, the game's overproduced. That's not terrible, but it's big and grandiose. But the game is actually pretty easy and pretty light. When it comes down to it, you're essentially involved in 3 tug-of-wars. You're playing stuff on one side, and you have to try to be on the winning side. Or maybe be on the losing side, not really caring that you're on the losing side, but there's some great rewards in that losing side. And you have to figure out the best rewards to get. Now, I think the game plays much better with 4 than it does with 3. With 3, you only have 2 battles, and it often ends up 2 against 1, while with 4, it could be 2 on 2, 3 on 1, 1 versus 1, 2 people ignore that battle. It seems like there's more options in a 4-player game, and that's why I like that one better. Like I said, the production here is astounding. The rule book was very clear and easy to understand, and I enjoyed it. I liked sitting there going, do I want this reward, or do I want to make the side win? Or, is Bob going to go all in for that lane? Because if he's going to go all in for that lane, maybe I should back out of it. It may not be worth it. So there's this thought process and trying to bluff, hold your good cards to the end, or maybe play them quickly to get the better rewards. The point totals aren't necessarily known because you have everything behind a shield, and each player also has a special ability. So for example here, Lady Macbeth, these big pink beautiful ladies who happen to have a big skull on their hats, when she determines who gets the bonus award, she counts as having an extra captain. So essentially, she wins ties. And each of these people have these special abilities that they can play, special things. It's a minor thing, but I like it. And I like the money economy of the game is points, but half a point. But you have to know when to get those. Those special cards can be amazingly effective, but you have to know the right time to play them. There's a lot of good stuff in this game, and I enjoyed it. I think it's very good. Again, my caveat is I think you should play with 4 players over 3 if possible, but don't be scared. I don't think it's a big miniature combat game. It's not. It's more of an area control on a side, tug-of-war style, and knowing when to play the right captain in the right place. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
There.